Synastry report. This is the peace dealer, and I hope you gain the utmost of quality from this report. Um, this is really awesome to do, seeing that both of you were born in '88. Um, it's actually quite interesting because I wasn't aware that in '88 Neptune and I didn't realize Neptune and Uranus retrograded back into Sagittarius, which is very interesting. And then obviously went back by '89. So I think a major feature of this connection is Monica, you have Neptune, Uranus. So you have Uranus, Saturn in Sag, and Justin has Uranus, Saturn in Capricorn. The reason why I'm looking very closely at this too is, first of all, as long as I've known you, Monica, out of billions of people who I've known, you have been one of the I can say people who I can count on less than one hand who's been very aware of the judgment process and like how the new world is going to be created. We know that Pluto Sagittarius is going to create the new world, but based on that, Saturn and Uranus and Sag is going to help influence and guide the new generation, right? Who really taps into this. And whereas, us with it in Capricorn, we're going to guide the Pluto Capricorn generation and everyone else too, right? But I just wanted to point that distinction. 2031, we are going to see, in fact, I'll just show you. It's something that I've had I haven't been able to put my finger on because it's still way too soon to speculate. But as you can see, by 2031, Saturn and Uranus will have conjuncted in Gemini. And I kind of want to show you the exact conjunction. I didn't expect this to, yeah. No, it's actually going to be at the end of Gemini. There we go. So by 2032, okay, we see this coming close. And this is so relevant to y'all because there we go. June 16th, 2032, we have the 26, 27, and the most important generation for that is you. As you can see, 26 Saturn, 27 Uranus, 26 Saturn, 27 Uranus, bong, 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 bong. That's huge. And nobody knows that people born '88 are the most important people for that because this is completing y'all conjunction. And then that's going to spill over to Capricorn. It's going to spill over to Cancer, right? Where eventually we're going to experience, that opposition, but maybe not direct. So I want to see how that spills over because it's all very relevant. Yeah, so we see them both coming in together, which is once again, and so what are the odds? You know what I'm saying? Saturn overtakes Uranus as it goes into Cancer, just like Saturn overtook Uranus. Oh my God, I can't. Oh my God. So like, see how you are showing me the future because you ordered, like, this is just next level. So I just wanted to illustrate that June of 2032, this opposition is going to change the game through you because it's y'all who are going to complete this. It's everything that y'all have been creating as far as innovating the system that, of course, with global resets or whatever, will bring in this new cycle. So that's something that, I feel like is 10 years from now, still too soon to speculate on. But I would say you have more of an understanding than ever or anyone else. Okay. And it's a very important lead and build up that will bring us to the new heaven and new earth. You know what I mean? And I just want to honor once again that you're really the only person in my whole life that has ever really opened up to me about this level. But we know you're not from here. We know you're not from here. We know you're part of the 13, like you told me before, Miss Venus, and I'm representing Mercury. So, I just wanted to revisit that. I don't even know why the first thing I got drawn to was that. But to start the reading off, the very first thing that I want to, every time I do synastry, we look at layers. I always look at sun and moon, but what I'm starting to look at first is outer planets because both of you were born in '88. And so you both brought the school bus in. Okay. You're both North Node Pisces. So both of you incarnated into this reality in the same incarnation plane. You are literally different rows from each other. And I love how this is I love how this is the classic opposition between Aries and Libra, the original partnership, the original power couple, or I can at least say the classic power couple that meets incredibly or sincerely, depending on which way, which it looks like it meets in your composite chart in Cancer. So y'all have a holy connection. Composite Cancer Sun means that you have a emotional and spiritual connection. Okay, that feels really good from experience. As a Gemini, I share that with Leo women and men, and it feels really good. It's very sincere. So this is more the cardinal axis of this. First thing I want to say is, of course, being born the same year, you were in the same grade together, give or take one or the same, so the same music that came out influenced y'all, the same events that happened influenced y'all. It's just the way you experienced it was as individual as y'all are unique. And so that's the way to see being born the same year. But I noticed, whether you're born 7 years apart, 10 years, the same year, it doesn't really matter as much as just recognizing the patterns that align y'all. And so I really am a fan. I really do like to see stuff like this where clearly, both of you, especially if you did, whether you knew each other your whole life or not, it's still something to say that both of you made your way back to each other now that you've come of age. Because both of you incarnated into this world near the same time in the same energy. Subtly, of course, with the different outer planets. And this is where I wanted to highlight that Justin was born earlier with the conjunction that now retrograded back, went direct, and then was ready to go back into Capricorn before 89. Okay. And very iconic, very, 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 very iconic, very iconic, very iconic. It's amazing to see that his MC is your AC. So you're his higher self. Like you're the instrument of his higher self. I like to see the MC as your higher self. It's like your reputation, it's your legacy. And so you're the instrument of his legacy right off the bat. And just seeing that straight up, this relationship is already bonkers. Like it's already like a really interesting match. And then I love to see that he is a vessel of your Juno. Moon Juno placements really work well with commitment, but it's also very revealing, being that your Juno is in Aries, his Juno is in Aries and your Juno is in Leo. So both of them mix as a fire sign. He's also a vessel of your heart. But before I go all over the place, we know that this is a relationship between Aries Sun and Libra Sun. Aries is the one. Libra is the classic, the cosmic agent, the artist. Libra draws Aries' raw potential out, brings out the fullest potential of Aries, balances it, and polishes it. And then Aries holds space for Libra to be as savage and ratchet as they can be. A lot of people don't know Libra is very savage. Libra just knows how to be classy. They have the balanced scales. So Aries brings out that more dynamic, assertive side of them. It is a classic partnership. I really don't know what else to say about that. It's, in my opinion, one of the best oppositions. I'm biased, so I think the best opposition is Gemini and Sagittarius. But, that wouldn't happen without Aries and Libra. I'm just be real. So, yeah, not only is this a classic opposition, we know you got the Aries moon and the Mars in Aries. So we know that Aries is your thing. You desire Aries, okay? Aries stimulate that facet of desire for you. And I like seeing that his sun is so close to your Mars to empower. When the sun is on our planet, the sun, right? When we plug anything into an outlet, we get source energy from it. So he sources and empowers your Mars, and he looks into your soul. Classic soulmate connection, especially with the woman's moon and the man's sun. The man's moon is the wife, but it's also more common to see it this way. The woman unconsciously always seeks out the man whose sun is on her moon, but it's not limited to that. So to see it like that is very interesting, because he's activating, once again, your soul power, and you're balancing his spirit power, of course, with Vesta on the rising. So once again, from experience, anyone I met, especially women who I've met, because my MC is an Aquarius, so Aqua rising woman, their personality is mirroring the nature, like Aqua sun woman and Aqua rising woman, the way they act is exactly mirroring the goals I have, right? So like the personality they have is the personality of the higher nature of the being I'm ascending to. It's so slept on. I think this is one of the more slept on aspects because you have to know more than cookie cutter astrology to really tap into this. Your very personality challenges him to rise up to what he's meant to do, and so you're going to personify his career goals. Okay? For example, a lot of Aquarius suns and Aquarius risings, the stuff that they're currently doing is stuff that I plan to do, is stuff that I look up to them. You know what I'm saying? So he's going to look up to you in a certain sense, your personality and your spirit, which is a really cool thing. Normally we see a man's sun here because they're the breadwinner, but it works reflexively too, where he can match that. And of course, his ascendant is your third house. His personality evokes your attitude, which makes, of course, your MC, rather, his eighth house. And being that your MC squared, that's like, being that your MC squared, even though his MC is in the 11th, or ruled by the 11th, is going to bring a clash to career objectives because your MC is more individual. His MC is more social, but your spirit is social and you're an individual social and he's a social individual. I swear to God, I just said that right now. I'm going to say that again. His legacy is social. Your legacy is sincerely individual. So you make the world your family in a sense. It's not as simple as that at all. And it's a vague, that's almost a misleading generalization, but it's easy for me to say it like that. And you understand it because you live it, right? But the sincerity that goes into the individually defined success is going to challenge more his social legacy, where you actually are meant to impact as a social spirit individually and him as an individual socially, because he's a social individual, Moon Leo Aries Sun, and you're an individual social. So already we see a lot of mirroring here. Okay, your sun moon signature is Libra as a Libra, which is gangster. Your moon is literally 7 houses away from your sun as a Libra sun. Like, wow. And then his sun moon signature is Leo, because his moon is 5 houses away from his sun and his moon is in Leo. Like you can't make this up. This is really lit. This is really interesting. So in a lot of ways, this is like a Leo with a Libra. But other than that, okay, it's interesting to see the fire dynamic versus the air quality that you maintain and represent. And the reason why I wanted to express his passion paired with your ability to guide, cultivate, nurture, culture, and polish that passion goes a long way. This now makes a lot more sense into seeing how it's not a coincidence that both of you have vertex, moon, and the pars of fortune together. I don't even know what to say anymore. I don't know, like the Synastry readings I've been doing as of late are just nothing short of mind-blowing. It's making me realize, like, what the hell is anything? So, like, everything that I've brought up so far is definitive proof that not only are y'all meant to be together, but you mirror each other in certain ways that border on twin flame, soulmate-y, whatever. I just don't want to use the twin flame word, but you already know what it is, okay? You also stimulate his Lilith, and so this could really evoke some sexual erotic feelings and energy, okay? But this is still really cool because as a vessel of your Juno, I want to once again make it clear that it's not a coincidence that both of you have pars of fortune near your moon with the vertex. What kind of what is that? What is that? Wow. I just seen that, like, wow. I don't even know how to compute that, to be honest, but I do know that both of that meets in Gemini. So as you can see, moon, vertex, pars of fortune, both of you have come together to communicate the truth of your soul, where his Chiron is, ironically. But yeah, very, very, very super revealing. This is why relationship astrology is my bread and butter. That's my favorite. It's the most fascinating, especially amongst families, but with romantic partners, what I'm going to specialize in. all day, every day, because that's where all the answers are, really, to be honest. But you know, this is just so far setting up the archetype that, or the understanding that, unconsciously y'all attracted, even if you've always known each other in a way, because you've always known each other. But you know, it's just very interesting. That doesn't mean that there aren't clashes. So I wanted to notice out what these similarities, because when we see sun and moon conjunctions, now clashes like squares turn into good aspects. There's no such thing as a good or bad aspect, but challenging aspects are now less challenging because, for example, he has Venus in Taurus. I have Venus in Taurus. We're very stubborn. The way we love is very stubborn, especially opposite Pluto. We can be a bit obsessive with how stubborn we are. And it's honestly one of the best parts about us. I mean, I'm very stubborn and biased to say that. And, a lot of other people may disagree. But it's going to clash with your Venus in Leo. Venus in Leo is dancing in the club. Venus in Taurus is sitting down. Venus in Leo is telling Venus in Taurus to get up and dance. And Venus in Taurus is like, okay, because it's you, I'll do it. Versus Venus in Taurus grounding Venus in Leo. These clashes, which would somewhat kind of create challenges, isn't there anymore because your moon is in Aries. You understand how he is. And that's going to, and then on top of that, his moon is on your Venus. So he understands your heart. That's going to help him overcome those clashes. These are little minute differences that make a whole world of difference. And now the clash your heart has with his heart is going to mirror the clash his heart has with his soul. Is it a clash? Actually, aspects like this put each other in check and create greater strength. So this is where you're going to help him understand as a producer, you, the performer on stage with Leo, how much more to come and step more into his value, where he's going to exalt and produce the stage for you to perform on. Boss level-ish. Okay, but I do like that. Normally a square between Venuses would be seen as a bad thing. Squares and oppositions are some of the best things that can happen in a chart if two people are mature enough to deal with it. Negative aspects are really bad for immature people in relationships, especially who run away at the first sign of difficulty. People who are in it for the long haul want to see this because it's like, okay, we can work on this. So, this is where it's just, with this cookie cutter astrologer stuff, it's you hear all these, oh, you guys have these squares in opposition, so it's not going to work. That's not how it works at all. Oh my God. I also noticed that your Chiron moved into Cancer while his is in Gemini. So this is an interesting feature of your relationship where you're still born within like 6 months of each other, but there's these subtle differences, right? Uranus and Saturn that is going direct from back there, and then of course Chiron switching. As a Sagittarius rising, and forgive me for going all over the place, he is an instrument of your karma. Pause for dramatic effect. And also of your inner genius. Because Uranus is extra dimensional, you'll see into this, and he may see into this, but Saturn is material. So your work ethic, your karma is going to, of course, or rather, Saturn will actually feel the responsibility you have for him. You're going to strengthen and structure his personality, but this can sometimes be felt as smothering or limitation. Honestly, because both of your Saturns are returned, it's really impactful and dynamic, but it's also an indicator of a karmic relationship. And I want to put a disclaimer because now the quote unquote spiritual community has made karmic relationships sound like the worst thing ever. That if a relationship is karmic, it's not going to last. That's bullshit. The more important a relationship is, usually the more karmic it is, because karma is karma. You know what I'm saying? Dharma and karma. But, you being him being an instrument of the karma you represent, and him to a degree, but it's not within 10 degrees. So I didn't put that alien construct article. It's still very interesting. Right? Your Saturn is on his AC and you are on his MC, which is the house of Saturn. It's a very Saturnian based connection in a way. Even down to his Saturn being on your IC. So his Neptune, Saturn, IC, Mars in your fourth house impacts your private world and how you understand more your comfort zone and how he'll push you out your comfort zone and help you uncover more mysteries and feel more comfortable. I really simplified that. It's way deeper than that. but it's something to keep in mind as far as the angles and the contacts. So you have Mars in Aries. He has Mars in Cap. You have Venus in Leo. He has Venus in Taurus. The way that both of your Mars and Venuses trine mirror each other too, which I think is very exceptional. So you bring more of the passion as a more intellectual, and he brings more of the groundedness as a more passionate being. Lots of mirroring here. Doesn't have to be direct mirroring, but the astro nerd in me is going crazy because this is very fascinating. And I like to see that his Mercury is near your North Node. And so the way he thinks will challenge how you live up to your destiny. Okay. Whereas, of course, you know, given that your Mercury is in Libra, this will challenge a lot more of how he integrates his individuality with your ability to process the social interactions and the dynamics, rather, process the social dynamics of your interactions as a social personality, as an artist spirit with a warrior soul. Okay? I still can't get over the fact that y'all have y'all have Pars of Fortune, Vertex, and Moon. That is mind blowing. Like, wow. And I would, if you have any examples of how that plays out, because Pars of Fortune, I don't have it attached to the moon, but I do have Pars of Fortune in Libra, and Libra suns and risings have helped bring fortune. I know a Libra sun who used to shoot my videos, and being in his studio in my sixth house really, I felt was fortunate because I learned so much. And even you know what I'm saying? Your Mercury is near my Pars of Fortune. You have been a single-handed, like, from the polo messages you sent to just all the amazing stuff you've shared. Like, you're really one of the greats, my friend. And it's really an honor that, you know, we get to work together or connect together like so. And the coolest thing is that now all this is clearing and we finished our Saturn returns. When Saturn gets out of Aquarius and we're done, we're going to come together more and we're going to meet each other all at the top, right? And then work together that way. That's really the trial. We're all working individually, and then the Saturn and the collective or last four signs means that once we've established our Saturn, we all meet each other at the top and then go from there. Doesn't mean we won't connect along the way, but we all have our missions to do. And so, you know, the vertex angle here, though, is fate. I have vertex and Pars of Fortune in Libra. It's common to see vertex and Pars of Fortune together, but the moon here helps both of y'all understand that aspect individually in a way that you can kind of control or manipulate or influence. So to see both of you have that, I think is the most significant part of your chart that really bridges you together. And, you know, before we get into the composite, we know that his Chiron in your ninth house is going to trigger healing of your philosophy, engaging communication with your Jupiter near that will expand more the vulnerability here. In fact, it's cool because your Jupiter falling in his seventh brings so much to the table in a relationship. Classic example of this is Kim Kardashian, who's a Sagittarius rising with Gemini, you know, Kanye's Gemini Jupiter in her seventh. And it's logged and recorded that, you know, Kanye upgraded her. Kanye upgraded her fashion sense to where now she don't even know what she gonna wear because he not in her life anymore. He upgraded her whole wardrobe. Like he was a whole good look. And that taught me Jupiter in the seventh. And just like you have Jupiter in his seventh, Jupiter in the seventh expands and evolves so much truth and experience. And of course, the open door into magic that you just bring to the table just by being with him. The ideas that you'll inspire him to heal through. Whereas your Chiron in his eighth house falling in the seventh is going to heal more the vulnerability to open up and trust with you. Okay. Especially because with his Neptune and Saturn near your fourth, he's going to help construct more of a foundation to help strengthen your attitude. Your Mercury's connecting differently. Mix both of, you know, his more psychological and nonlinear way of processing information with your more expressly logical way of, you know, communicating. And which is cool because a lot of what you say, most people wouldn't say is logical. They'd say is like out of this world or delusional, but you have a way to take these out of these world themes and break them down in the most logically applicable social way ever, and how it plays out to you and I. When it comes to frequency dynamics, when it comes to extraterrestrial beings, when it comes to angels, like you've made it make sense for so many of us. And there's a way I do it as a Gemini, but there's a way you do it as a Libra that integrates this further socially, taking the what that I reveal and you reveal more how, right? So with his Mercury and Pisces, he'd actually give more insight into why, but not as an Aquarius, as a warrior, as an Aries, which is still individual like myself. So it's not a good or bad thing. It's definitely a badass thing for sure. So we do know that his Mars in Cap will clash with your Venus in Leo. Venus in Leo is bold, Mars in Cap is organized. So he's going to structure the steps for you to produce that stage. And you're going to, of course, be passionate. Thankfully, he's a fire sign. So this is where this will actually work pretty interestingly. And of course, the earth groundedness will clash with your air and fire, but this will help integrate more of that. Regardless, let's look at the composite chart though. First of all, Venus in Cancer is the Two of Cups. So every relationship or every connection I've shared with somebody who I have Sun and Venus or Mercury in Cancer, that's a soulmate connection. Venus in Cancer composite is a mutual love bond. So, both of you are going to share mutual feelings for each other. And seeing that the Sun is here powering this with Chiron, it's an aspect of true love. Mercury opposite Capricorn does not exist. Sorry, Mercury opposite the Sun. So now there's a special archetype of composite that if you use the Davidson method, overcomes. I personally like the midpoint method because I'm gonna do some more research. I heard Davidson is accurate too, but I've seen some very accurate composite chart midpoint methods. There's still more research I'm gonna do into that. But the reason why this can be interesting is the Sun will never be opposite Mercury. So we can count Mercury in Cancer, which is the Three of Cups. But Mercury on Neptune gives you an intuitively psychic connection, physically. Opposite the shared heart, which I love, the Venus in Taurus and Venus in Leo meeting in Cancer, the power and awareness of this relationship is on the Two of Cups. This is a soulmate connection. No, just be real. This is mutual love. It feels really good. I'm not going to lie. The composite Venus in Pisces is divine. Composite Venus in Cancer. Composite Venus in Scorpio is cool too, but I'll never feel that because I have Venus in Taurus. But composite Venus in Cancer, chef's kiss. That feels good. And in the 9th house, it's actually the light of the relationship. It's the philosophy around how you guide this connection. What's even cooler is Pluto, that is on the rising, ruling the chart, makes you both Kundalini aliens. In that you awaken the psychological wisdom of the intensity that opposite Jupiter makes this a very fruitful union. What's even more badass, Monika, that I'm mind blown on is that you got this report after the eclipse in your 7th house. I bet this blew your mind. Oh, by the way, I see that 29-degree Mars in Aqua. Oh, snap. What I learned is that when Mars composite is in Cap, Aqua, or Pisces, that's the highest level sex right there. So y'all, and then it's 29 degrees. Y'all sex is out of this world. Let me tell you. Y'all, in fact, composite Mars in Aquarius, y'all can have sex mentally without even being there physically. Trust me, I got Mars in Aries, so I've experimented with that myself. But 29 degrees, composite Mars in Aqua, y'all sex is out this world. And it connects with Uranus and Saturn too. Oh my God. Oh my God. Y'all have to make a lot of money together because this is very unconventional wealth making with magic and innovating the process of this. But that Mars in the 4th is this private sense of consolidating that income and taking action collectively with the network. That, please, I would like more insight into how this plays out because that is a major facet of this. The moon in Gemini makes this a legendary connection because it's 12th house of the sun. Both of you are enlightened sincerity, the angelic priests. So this is the hidden truth of the sincere emotional connection that both of your Leo moon, your Aries moon, and his Leo moon will communicate telepathically and consciously. You come into the most fortune sharing your innermost 8th house thoughts to grow in more intimately. And this is the commitment with Juno and the fortune with Pars of Fortune and fate with Vertex, that through more communication and triggering with the Chiron will bring you both closer together. So this is a type of relationship where your arguments actually bring you closer together. Monika, if you want to follow up on this at any point, please feel free to email me any questions you have. This is fascinating. I wish both of you the best. And that 29-degree Mars in Aquarius, though. I see you. I see you. That's it right there. All right. Y'all stay blessed as always. Until next time.